Hello, it's Martin here with Danny. Hungerford just lost 2-1 to Gloucester at home. Thoughts on the game, mate?
I thought the first 30 minutes was weak, inept, soft, poor. Gloucester out-fought, out-jumped, out-sweat. A lot better than us. Fully deserved to go in front, even though it was an absolute horror of a mistake, if I'm honest, from two players that are vastly experienced. And we just didn't get going. First 30 minutes just did not get going. I have to give Gloucester City full of credit for that. But we just didn't have no intensity about us on, off the ball. Didn't lay a glove, and it's lucky that we had to stop because someone was down injured and have a drinks break and get people in. And then I thought the 15 minutes up to leading up to half time, we had the ascendancy, we were the better side. And then second half for me, shouldn't take a rocket, but that's what they got. And then I thought we were the better side second half, but then again, like I said, we're trying to get back into the game and we conceded another soft goal. Losing two headers in our own 6-yard box is just unacceptable. And it hurts. Gloucester City are a fantastic side, they are, they've got some cracking players, but we've given them two absolute gem of goals and let them off the hook. And after the second goal, yes, we're in the ascendancy, yes, we created chances. I think the goalkeeper's pulled off a couple of saves from H, great header from James to get, one goal back. But the damage had already been done, and that's what hurts me the most because, all jokes aside, I said to the chairman right at the beginning of the season, this squad is good enough to compete with the best sides in this league. And we played, in my humble opinion, two best sides and we've come up short. So that's more for me, that's egg on my face, that's me that got that wrong. But we need to go back to the basics of Hungerford Town, and that's, the first 30 minutes of being soft and getting our tummies tickled ain't good enough, and it's not acceptable.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I think that you can afford to give teams like Gloucester 1 or 2 goal head start, which is what we did. So that was probably the most disappointing thing.
Yeah, it was. We gave him an absolute leg up. I don't think Luke Kearney really has had a save to make, has he?
No.
So he hasn't had a save to make yet. Him and Curtis were at fault for the first goal. And I think Soft's got out, jumped at the back stick, and then he's got in front of Ty to head the ball in. So for the second goal. So, we're talking about good players. We're talking about good players making individual mistakes or individual errors, and it happens. Don't get me wrong. Players are at this level for a reason. But I just, like I said, it's infuriating because, like you just said, Gloucester City are a very good side. They don't need any give-me's or any leg-ups. We've gone and done that, and they're the ones celebrating. They're the ones, the fans are vocal and everything like that. Which I've got to say that, fair play to them. And it just hurts. It hurts.
It does, mate. We have to say as well, their goalkeeper's pulled off 3 or 4 absolute top world-class saves, I thought, as well.
Yeah, he did. Especially, the one from H, especially second half, where he spread himself and he got fingertips to it. Yeah, good goalkeeper, Thompson. Yeah, good side. All round a good side. So, it's frustrating, it's infuriating. Because, we're a little bit nearly. We're a nearly side at the minute. Well, the first 2 games were a nearly side. And it's just annoying because, like I said, all the hard work in pre-season, everything we've done, comes a little bit unravelled a little bit with the first 2 performances. But football is football. It's only 2 games. Nothing's won, lost or anything like that in the first week of the season. I feel sorry for our supporters because, like I said, they travelled really well Saturday. We had a good attendance here again tonight and we couldn't put a performance in to make them proud. So, yeah, bitterly disappointed, but it's my fault. Buck stops with me. I picked the team. It's nothing to do with the chairman or anything like that. It's solely down to me. And, yeah, like I said, it's, a horrible one to take in a minute.
Having said the negatives, it was a great goal from James Ollis, Louis McGorry cross to get us back in the game. And then I thought after we scored, we were the better side.
I thought we were the better side majority of the second half. Like I said, we gave him a leg up. But yeah, it was a great cross from Lou, great header from James. I thought James, along with George Smith, I think George Smith was our best player by a country mile. I thought James Ollis worked his socks off and deserved the goal. But the other, I'm not going to say the others, but like I said, it was just soft. It was just a soft performance, a timid performance, especially first half. And that's not my DNA, that is not Hungerford's DNA under Danny Robinson. And like I said, there's going to be a few stern words Thursday night, back on the drawing board, back on the training pitch. And yeah, we have to dust ourselves down, put puff out our chest and go at home against Tiverton.
Yeah, Tiverton on Saturday. We're going to have to battle. They're a very physical, hard side, so we need to turn up for that game.
Yeah, this league is relentless. It's hard work. You know, there's no give-me's whatsoever. You know, we like to think we're a hard-working side, and we don't give anybody give-me's apart tonight. But yeah, no, they are a side. Obviously, we do our homework on every side we have, and obviously Thursday night's going to be no different. We're going to obviously go through what Tiverton's plus points and weak points, what we feel, and everything like that. And yeah, you know, already it's probably turned into a must-win game for us on Saturday. So yeah, bitterly disappointed tonight, but in the morning you dust yourself down, the sun always rises, and you have to move on.
Indeed it does, mate. Well, thanks for your time and honesty as ever, Danny, and I'll see you Saturday.
Cheers, mate. See you Saturday.